So the thing is that if we had control over the internet, then we'd be gods, and they could hire me to go to every town and just wave my hand, and in Chicago and New York and LA, everything would be fine. So as I was saying, I was eating this really weird purple bar. It didn't taste very good, and as you guys can tell, the camera adds 10 pounds because I'm 10 pounds heavier than when the stream just started a few minutes ago. As you might have noticed. Plus, in the break that we had, I grew some facial hair too. So. Hang on. Let me get a drink right here, because you know what I have is I have the straw that's way too long, and this has become the thing that they feed me over here, because again I have no control over my own destiny. Refrigerated Hawaiian water, not too bad. All right, so where were we? Yeah.
I was.
What? Do you want me?
I go fix the internet. What the heck?
Do you want me to get up? I'll get up and walk out of here right now. I got stuff to be doing.
It's okay. You stay right
All
there.
right.
Like, what the heck, man?
So, yeah, take this pink little power bar and get out of here.
Something.
Oh, I know. You were just flooding it, baby. Everybody's loving you. They're just up in arms that you weren't here.
Well, I didn't say I was doing
God.
well.
Secret sauce from Super Chicken. When you think that you're in trouble. Oh, so you want... I can go. You can go talk. Do you guys want to talk to the kid? I can get up and you can talk about his FFA stuff. Paul Grable wants to hear about your FFA career. Do you want me to get up where you can talk about your FFA career? Hello, kid. Earth to kid. Paul Grable wants to hear. They're saying they want to hear about your stuff. Do you want me to get up where you can tell them about your stuff? I can go.
Just let me hook up this microphone.
Well, apparently not. Apparently, you don't get to know. Hang on 1 second. He's hooking up a microphone. Stand by, citizen.
Am I good?
You're good. Okay, they want to know about your FFA career. Apparently, were you talking about your FFA career?
I was talking about my future goals in the FFA.
Well, let's all sit back and listen to Story Time with the Kid. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Loud Trouble LLC, our company sponsor, and story is FFA. His, yours, mine, and ours. Take it away, kid.
Once upon a time. Well, recently what I've been brewing up with my FFA program is they want me to come back and coach our parliamentary procedure team and kind of be the main guy to teach it and coach it with all the new kids and the
Why is it they don't just do that? I mean, you didn't have a student teacher when you did it.
Yeah. Well, my teacher who was the coach is switching schools. So he's switching schools. He taught me everything. I took it super seriously. And the teacher who would coach it said that she's only confident in coaching novice, like freshman level.
Right, just the beginning
and
stuff.
I did 3 years or 2 years of advanced. And I was well-versed, pretty knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And I think I do an okay job. I feel like the funniest part about it is that when we go to the competitions, I'd have to explain to people that I'm not a student.
Yeah, you got to wear the suit and tie.
They'll be like, so where's your official dress, sir? Where's your FFA jacket? I'll be like, I am not a student. I'm
not a student here, man. I'm coaching.
Yeah.
I'm pinch hitting for the coach.
Yeah. So I think that'd be fun. And I'm also trying to I'm running out of time to work on my American degree. So I have my state degree, which 3% of California FFA members get.
Yeah.
And I'm working on getting my American degree, which like a very select few of FFA members in the nation get. And you need 10,000 hours and $1,000 in an ag project. And, I want to see if I can do it on my own. And I understand that I started Gen X Talks, but I don't want that to be everything.
No, I know. You're trying to get out there and do the project and earn the money on your own. We understand it. Would it help any if I kicked you out of the house and kind of forced you to live in your car? That would kind of motivate you to get a job and do, if that would help you, I'm willing to do it.
No, I'm good.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You really didn't think about that. I don't think you're considering all your options.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like I said in the beginning, there has been a little bit of a rough stint in the Gen X Talks household, and it's mostly because of me. And I'm sorry that I've put that idea in your head. And
What idea was that? You put an idea in my head?
to kick me out.
Oh, to kick no out. I was just trying to help. I don't want to take that personally. Sometimes it's just about business. Like, I don't want you to leave, but I think it's what's best.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
I understand.
All right.
And I'm trying to do better. But that's my update on the FFA.
How about if you get me training wheels in a can, and a glass of that hooch right there, so I can hang out with my friends a little bit, like a glass of hooch with my friends.
Can I ask you one question?
Yeah, I'll try not to lie. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, Elias asked if I can come over and fix his Tahoe with him.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to go do that?
Not a chance.
That's what I thought.
Not a chance. Not even after 7. I'm so pissed off at him right now. He's lucky if I'm going to let him out of the house by the time he's 30. No, 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 and no again. And you know the rule. If you ask in front of your friends, the answer is always no. And this is a big group of your friends right here, buddy. I'm going to get a Coke and I'm going to get some hooch and raise a glass. We'll start over. And as soon as the hooch gets here, I can officially start the program. Let me see. Is there anybody in between the sheets tonight? I don't think there is. Let's see. Birthdays. Gideon, Smicky's kid, Mrs. Two Bear. Mrs. Two Bear's was yesterday, I think. But a happy birthday to Smicky's kid, and Mrs. Two Bear. I love them both so much. Yeah. Oh, wait, you need a microphone. And my wife showed up, which either means I'm in trouble.
We have Josh Maddox in the sheets, and Two Bear and Lionheart are throwing down wrenches. Oh, Mrs. Four. I'm sorry.
Is everybody okay on there? I mean, did they do it? Do we have a problem in the moderation section tonight? Or is everybody okay?
I think we're all good.
All right.
And Mrs. Four laid down $100 on PayPal for a Thin Man office chair for the studio. Go ZEO.
Well, that was for him, because we know that Fat Man office chair would have been me. All right, so let me go back between the sheets right here. Hold on, the sheets are a little bit far away. Brett Marshall, I'm planning on a duck hunting trip for the end of the year. That would be the best Gen X Talks thing to do as a group. Kill some quacks. I'm not sure if I could even get that sanctioned. I mean, we put that before a committee. And do Gen X Talks guys with drinking and guns? I don't know if all of us would come back. Might have a moment there. The Angry Norwegian, welcome Bottom of the Glass Nation. I hope you guys all welcome the Angry Norwegian. If I didn't see it go by, I missed it because I'm talking here. I missed what's going on down there. Hopefully, you guys all took care of that for me, as you guys should. That would be a helpful thing. Let's see if we can hear the Coke open. We can. Good stuff. John K. Visiting the East Coast. You'd feel right at home here in Georgia. I bet I would. Let's see. Josh is moving things around on me here. It's kind of, let's see. John K. got him. Just the tip. Gen X Talks. Tell the kid that he didn't update the description box starting. That was him, silly boy. I don't know if he did or not. I'm not sure what's updated right now or not. I'd probably have to ask him to go in and do that, because what we did was we raced through everything so fast. Let's see if I can even find that. See if I can go in there and see if he did that. Well, they're saying that when you did your first one, you didn't update the description box or something. And I don't know if you did or not. And we certainly didn't update any of the stuff on the second one. So can you go do that? When? There we go. That's what I want to hear. Good answers.
Hey, we got
Phoenix.
another PayPal.
Hold on. Phoenix Common Star. How's packing for VidCon coming along, ZEO? That'd be a good question for him, because I haven't packed a damn thing.
Me either.
Doug Dillner, hey kid, when is your girlfriend coming back on? Well, now see, that's a testament to recognizing talent when you see it. You know, you don't want to see his ugly mug, just like you'd rather see Gen X Mom than myself. I can completely understand. So we'll have to move along forward. All right, what are you standing there hovering over me?
We received another $100 from Mrs. Four. Big man office chair for studio for our handsome general.
Wow. Now, if that doesn't motivate a man to do some things for a woman, nothing will. Not only is there money, there's a compliment and a big wink and a smile from my favorite Southern belle, Mrs. Four Watt. And if you ever heard her voice, you'd understand exactly what I'm talking about. You think she's from the deep South with the way she talks. She just melts your heart. Every time I get on the phone, I got to be sitting down or I just collapse. I do. I'm at her feet. I'm just at her feet. All right, so let's welcome to the Bottom of the Glass Nation. It's a little bit late at 6:26. The kid's updating the profile as we go, which should make things much easier for the rest of us here. I am drinking out of one of the last remaining official Bottom of the Glass Nation glasses. I don't think we even have any of these left. But if we did, this is one of the very last ones. Etched in glass. The truth is at the bottom of the glass. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Well, if there's boys and girls, you need to leave because we're drinking here. This is adult time, Generation X. If you're younger than 35, you need to leave the live stream right now. Anybody older than me is an old man. Anybody younger than me is a kid. Drink right now. Hello, everybody. All right, we're cheating with training wheels tonight. That's okay. And we got some Woodford Heights going on. If you guys know, you know. So, with the program about to begin, what are we talking about here? They're all dead. Every one of them in the submarine is dead. Now, I'm not sure if any of you put the math together on this 2 or 3 days ago, but I did. Now, remember, I'm not an expert on submarines. I'm not an expert on the ocean. I'm not an expert on mathematics. But I am a keen observer of human nature, and I've been on this planet for half a century. And as these press briefings were going by, I was paying attention. So even 3 and 4 days ago when this thing first started, they're like, well, you know, we got to get to him. We got to find him. It's a big ocean. We don't know where to look. Turns out that all they needed to do was look right in front of the Titanic, which is right off the bow, which is right where they thought they were when they lost contact and where they were. Could you go right there? Which they eventually did. But that's not the point. The point is, I was doing the math in my head. They said, well, as you know, they got 96 hours of oxygen. This is on day 2. They had, 2.5 days left or so of air. That was what, by their own admission, what they were saying. And then they said, so we've asked for these 2 cranes to be, shipped over to us, I think from Norway or Netherlands or something. And everybody, well, what do you need the cranes for? As well, even if we find them with a remote submarine, those are so small they can't drag the thing up to the surface. In fact, we have no way. Their words were this: we have no way of doing a person-to-person transfer at that depth. Not in this situation at all. It can't happen. And all of our remote submarines can't pull them to the surface because they're all too small. The only way to do this is to get a crane over there and lower the crane down and hook them up, drag them to the top. Now, they said the cranes were a day away. They were shipping them over. I don't remember from where. So I'm going to get that wrong, and somebody's going to go, that's not where they're coming from, asshole. They were coming from Turkey. Didn't you even listen? They're coming from Turkey. I thought they were coming from the Netherlands or, Norway. So something, I thought I remembered that. The point was they were like a day away from getting to the East Coast. Then they had to mount them onto this recovery ship, and they said it'll take 15 hours to get it over the site, even if they knew where it was, which at the time they didn't. So you got all the driving time of this thing, these 2 cranes coming over. They got to put them on the boat, 15 hours to where they are. Then they have to lower the cranes down. You guys know it takes 8 hours to get down to the Titanic. So they have to, they go slow. They get down there with the remote vehicle. The remote vehicle grabs the cable, and hopefully there's a place to hook it up to. Did the dude who make it even think of having a hook? I mean, you got hooks on cars for towing cars and trucks if they get stuck in the mud. You would think there's a little more serious. They'd have a hook. But let's say they had a hook, and then it would have been another, 8 hours to pull them to the surface. If they could get both cranes with both hooks on the thing, using a remote, robot down there who's trying to, he's half in the dark and half in the light trying to grab the thing and hook it on. Add up all the hours. If they had found them on day 2, if they had, there they are, right? Would they have even had enough time to get all this stuff moved over, floated out, dropped down, hung around, sunk to the bottom, hooked up, and then 8 hours to the surface? The quick math in my head was like, why, they're giving away a lot of information about time. We only have this many hours left. And by the way, it's going to take way more than that to even hook this thing up if we find it. Now, I didn't hear anybody who was doing any commentary on the news or on the radio. I didn't hear anybody put this together, so I left it alone too. I didn't want to start calling people out and going, well, it's fucking stupid. You guys, the numbers you're giving don't even make sense. In other words, what you're saying, if I'm adding things up correctly, using my calculator on my Casio watch right here, is that if you find them All you can do is knock on the hull and go, hey, we found you, but by the time we get things set up, you're going to be dead anyway. Tell me I got the math wrong. Tell me that I'm missing something here. I did the math in my head twice, and it wasn't even really that close. And then they were talking about, well, they have 96 hours. It's a total time of 96 hours of breathable air. Yeah? That's with people just sitting there calmly breathing normally. How much oxygen do you use up when you're in a panic? When you're scared? I heard one person talk about that, so I'll give him credit. I'm not an original thought for me there. That was something that I picked up on, but other people were saying it too. And there was one guy talked about scrubbers. They had no scrubbers for the oxygen, the CO2 being expelled. They didn't have any way to clean it. So there was, towards the last few hours, as the oxygen was coming in there and some was being released out the top, there was still going to be a mix of bad air and good air. It wasn't like we got 96 hours of clean air all the way. No, it still was a problem because they had no way to clean the air that was there. It all had to be used up. All 96 hours had to be used up, clean, and get rid of the old. That was a problem too. It could have lasted a lot longer. So in the discussion, we're driving around running errands. In the discussion of how things are going, I told Gen X Mom, I said, look, maybe it's just me. I don't think they're going to make it no matter what. And I'm hoping if I have to give them a choice of do we sit there and die slowly, or do we, just have an implosion what's over quick, I know what I'd pick. I'm not wishing anybody to die. But I certainly don't want to think about those people sitting in there, freaking out for 3 or 4 days, freaking out and screaming and crying and, wetting themselves over. To be much, much more dignified if it has to be a death to just be quick. The thing that bothered me about one of the, it shouldn't have bothered me, but it did. One of the things I was watching was Ben Shapiro. Now, a lot of you know Ben, and I watch a lot of his stuff, a lot of his, they make a lot of shorts out of his long lectures now, which is really good. Gets to the point because only so many hours in the day. And he had a very accurate description of, and with pictures and previous videos from this Titan sub, that it looks like a big water heater. And it did. That there was no room to sit. There was no chairs. You just sat on the floor. You went to bathroom in a box, which you did. The guy even said, there was clips of the guy, I bought these things at Camping World, and I bought these nuts and bolts at Home Depot. I mean, he literally put these things together like in his front yard. Not that it wasn't a very good design. I don't think I could have made a hot water heater go to the bottom of the ocean floor. Could you? Perhaps not. But nonetheless, it was very homemade and had that feel. And even though that's true, Ben was pretty heavy-handed on them, laughing at them, like, why would you get in that thing? He didn't really say you're stupid if you do, but he very clearly was saying you're stupid if you do. Now, everything he said was accurate. Okay? Everything he said was truthful. He didn't lie. He didn't even make a mistake. He was just talking, giving his opinion, and you're allowed to. It's America. Got it. I don't know that I would have done that. I don't know that while the search was still being conducted, and there was, people's lives in the balance, I don't know that my assessment of the situation would have been, well, you're rich and stupid if you did it. That was clearly what he was getting at, because he said, people who spend $250,000, they just assume we get this thing in our head that if something's priced really high, it's really good quality. That's why people buy Gucci purses and Coach purses and Kate Spade and things like that. And please don't ask me why I know those names. Let's not get into that right now. That is immaterial. But he had the point was, if you're rich and you just think you're spending a lot of money, that it's got to be tested, it's got to be safe. The CEO is going with us, so we're going to be fine. He wouldn't risk his life. And there's some truth to that. Rich people do some silly things. And, there's other people making fun of them for like, well, that's just what you get for being rich and confident. Well, I don't know that I would have gone down that road like Ben did. I don't know that I would have told everybody while the search was in progress, this is what you get for being rich and stupid and climbing into a hot water heater and going to the bottom of the ocean. Absolutely what he was saying, I probably wouldn't have done that. I mean, that's a conversation for, that when you tell a joke or you tell a story and nobody laughs and everybody's mad and you say too soon. That, in my mind, that was a too soon moment. But, I love Ben, and to each his own on that. And I don't think anybody's ripping him apart over it. So if they're not, then he got away with one, and that's okay. The other part of that was that a lot of people were making fun of them for being rich people that just do rich things. Now, I wanted to jump on that bandwagon because I'm not rich. It's very easy for poor folk to make fun at rich folk, when you're in that situation. However, if I scale that back, I think there's always going to be people with more money than me, and there's always going to be people with less money than me. And the things that I can afford to do, I afford to do them from time to time because of where I'm at with money. I think we all do that. I think that I used to eat at Taco Bell and McDonald's until I could afford Denny's, and then I ate at Denny's until I could afford Tahoe Joe's, and when I ate at Tahoe Joe, you just, as you get to a different station in life, you can afford a little bit more. And I bought an old beat up car when that's all I could afford. Then I bought a slightly less beat up car, than a good newer used car until I could buy my first new car. I think that that's the progression of things. You don't have to do it. There's reasons to not buy a brand new car, but I think that the more you are able to do, sometimes you can afford to do a little more, instead of going on vacation for 1 day to Disneyland. I took my wife and kids for 3 days when I could afford to do it. I think I would assume that goes all the way up to being a gazillionaire. I think when you can afford to do some of those things, you just naturally well, I think I'm in a position where I can go do this, and I'd like to go see the Titanic. I think that would be cool. And so you go do it. I'm not so sure that every decision that everybody makes at that level of money is all vanity. And that's clearly what a lot of people were saying. And I don't know that I agree with that. I think that sometimes you just move along and you do what you can afford to do. And believe me, I don't think I'd ever be in a position where I would spend $250,000 to see the Titanic, but I would love to see the Titanic. As much as I would never have $250,000 to see the Titanic, I definitely would sell one of my children into slavery for the rest of their lives to go see the Titanic. That's how much I like the Titanic. Yeah. I know it's a tough call, but selling one of my children to slavery is a decision that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. But no one would take them because my kids are not hard workers, and they'd give them back and want their money back. It's been a big hassle. Not that I've tried to sell my kids before. But when you realize their intellect isn't panning out, you try to make money any way you can. So, I try to sell them to the chain gang out there with busting rocks on the side of the canals out in the middle of the desert, and it turns right around. Nobody wanted them because they just stand there all day and complain. So that didn't work. But I'm just letting you know that if I could sell a child to see the Titanic, I most certainly would. That'd be great. And I do it twice on Sunday. Yeah. So, well, not all my kids. There's a couple of them I really, really love, and I would never do that to them. Okay, I'm lying. I'd get rid of them too. All right, so that's everything I just said is a lie. It's all made up, and I'm just joking, so just get off the case for a second. All right, I have no idea how the sheet's closed on me. They're not really closed, but they're kind of closed. Now they're kind of open. Now they're overlapping. Yeah, but this is a really tough one over here. Let me see if I can get this opened a little bit more. All right. You know what? Hang on. Let me rearrange this, and I can pull these things closer so I can read them. Stand by, citizen. All right, so I can read that better now, and I got my scrolly dealy right over here. Mr. Fatty, $2, how much is it going to pay? And I'm lost on that because it took too long for me to get there. Kevin Grimes, anyway, I just thought by to say hi and that I am okay and unavailable to see you all on Saturday. Kevin, I thought you were going to be down that way. Just a tiff, at least we get to look at the general's handsome face. Well, check out that luscious beard. Okay, Tiff. All right, you can, if you want to come to the barbecue, you can. You can stop complimenting me now. Tacty Tactico, I don't know how to say that. Tactico, you know what? A little spacing in there would help me out. Hey, General, did you watch the Headbangers Ball back in the 80s? I'm taking the kid. Yes, I did watch Headbangers Ball quite often. Mrs. Ford generated 5 memberships. That means that 5 people got to see behind the scenes. You can now. Who got that? Trash for Life, Chris Wilson, Doc McFly, James Weston, and James Weston again. So James Weston got it twice, along with Moist Buds. You guys now have the memberships. You guys can go to the membership community channel, and you can see behind the scenes, scroll back a year or two, and see all the stuff that nobody else got to see. The man they call Jay, member for 13 months, bottom of the Glass Nation's got his big red 1. Hey, generally heard that sub that went down to Titanic was playing Under Pressure on the way down. Too soon. Yeah, maybe a little bit on that, Jay. Oh, Josh, Navy recorded the implosion with microphones meant to detect submarines on Sunday. The same time they lost contact with them. At least it was quick and they didn't suffer. I agree with that. That was the other thing that was timing-wise, what they were saying was a little confusing. They said they heard banging every 30 minutes, but that could have been anything. There's a lot of weird sounds in the ocean. And as soon as they lost contact with the sub, they dropped sonar buoys all around the area, and they were listening for anything. They never heard an implosion, and they would very easily be able to hear that after they dropped the buoys. However, the Navy, who's always listening from several different monitoring stations, heard an implosion style bang right at the time. They documented it like they do because they're the Navy and they're on top of that shit. And then they found out later, it's like, oh, we lost contact with the sub. And this guy's like, hey, Roger, pull up that tape. When they said they lost contact was that about the time we heard? It was about the time, yeah. And they kind of already knew. Now, that's nothing you spread around. You don't tell people, quit looking. The search had just gotten started. But he's right. That's exactly how that went. All right, where am I? Am I cut out between the sheets or am I still way behind? Brandon Mitchell, $10. We already know what that's for. That's for 8-bit. PayPal, Hugh O'Brien dropped in $10, but there's no information. Hugh, when you drop in money and you don't say where it goes, any unallocated funds go to the whiskey fund. You know how that goes. Two Bear, General, the U.S. Navy detective was suspected may have been an implosion within hours of the Titan submersible descending into that ocean to visit the Titanic wreckage. There's 2 people, other than me, that caught on to that information. Brandon Mitchell, member for 15 months, big red 1. Anytime you guys see a name go by in the comments and there's a big red 1, then you got to realize that gets a little respect. They've been hanging around for 15 months. That's over a year. That is the full time we've even offered that membership. We were here before. Some of you were here before, but that's letting you know that they were there the whole time. All right, so what did I miss? I missed something here. Adam Schneidelman, nothing witty to say, just supporting the Whiskey Fund. Thank you very much. Who else was in there? Somebody else. Zoe Michelle, $4.99. She's giving some whiskey money right there. Thank you very much. So let's get to VidCon. Yeah, VidCon is coming up. We're leaving tomorrow morning bright and early, and I'm not excited about it. Okay, I got to tell you, this is 30 to 50,000 kids that are coming there to see their TikTok stars, their YouTube stars, and there's some very famous people that are going to be there, and they're doing panels, and they've got booths set up. We're not on a panel. We don't have a booth. We are literally going as spectators now. From what I've been told from my wife, I have to wear the shirt. I'll wear the shirt. Two Bears wearing the shirt. Trippy's wearing the shirt. Kids wearing a shirt. Mom's wearing the shirt. Everybody wearing a shirt. So they're going to see who we are. Now, if you guys remember Miss Liz, she was on staff last year at this time, and she went there. We were much less, shall we say, popular, had much less viewers, many less friends as we do today. And she went there with a T-shirt on, and she was harassed. Some people knew who Gen X Talks was, and she was harassed about her political beliefs, about what side of the aisle she promoted. And she was just one person wearing a T-shirt, walking around, and they still figured out who she was and went after her. Now, there was nothing violent, but she very clearly said that it was shook her up a little bit, and it wasn't all it was cracked up to be. So you never know. There might be some fun and entertainment for the general while we're down there, because if they're going to surround me with 300 or 400 screaming kids, that are all chanting and singing and screaming. I don't mind. I mean, that might be the best entertainment I've had in forever. I have to be careful of how I conduct myself. You know, like Steven Crowder, how he conducts himself when he's on campus talking. There's some things, there's some rules that you kind of have to follow if you want to stay on the right side of the argument, and not give in to what they're doing and saying. So I've kind of prepared myself mentally for that. There are a couple of seminars I'd like to go to because some grown-ups will be talking. One of them is the algorithm, and the algorithm explanation for TikTok and for Facebook and YouTube. There's supposed to be some guys working there that deal with that would like to answer questions. I'd like to get my fat ass up to a microphone. I have a few questions I'd like to have answered. And so there's some things like that we can do that could be productive. Actually, if you want to know the truth, the kid wants to go there with his friend Elias and Trippy Pineapple, and they want to run around all over the place and see all the people that they know. There's famous people going to be there from Twitch gaming, from TikTok. They're going to go see him. But there's also, believe it or not, the kid signed up for a few seminars. Yeah, there's some things he wanted to go to. Gen X Mom drug us into her office the other day and made us sit down, and she went through a list of everything we could go listen to lectures on. And I think there was 4 that I wanted to, and there was 4 or 5 that he wanted. He signed up for him, so he's going. That shows you a little bit of maturity on his part. You know, he's giving up some of the famous people stuff so that he can learn a little bit more about the industry, at least from the industry side. You know, you may think that this VidCon thing is a bunch of screaming kids, and you'd be right, but there's also some substance, but you have to go dig it out. You got to go find it. So if nobody, I fully anticipate being there and thrown out within the first 3 or 4 hours. I really don't think I'm going to, if Miss Liz, who nobody knew by name, if she was, you know, surrounded there fairly quickly, how could this beautiful face not be questioned within the first, 3 or 4 hours? I think I'll be thrown out on my ear, but that's me. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. It feels an awful lot like being right up until the time you find out you're wrong. You thought you were right. Could be me. It's been me before. Carl Gerard, our famous French for $9.99, $10. Turn my whole screen yellow. Buy 2 bear a drink for me. We commented from the same article. I was attempting to compliment his nice pull from that article, but it didn't articulate it well. Well, it came across. We got you on that, Carl. Loud one. Member for 10 months. Bottom of the Glass Nation. Just woke up, checking in, but going back to bed. 2 a.m. delivery in Macon, Georgia. Reload in Nashville at lunchtime. Have a great night, peoples. And Loud one is in, and he's out. Scott Royston, $5. Whiskey Fun. Thank you very much. And we already got PayPal from Hugh O'Brien for 10, unless he did another 10. I'm going to say Josh just forgot to erase it. All right, so back to what I was saying. I'm going to go over here and turn this to what's on, and we're back to, I think I'm back. I'm caught up there. It looks like I am. All right. So, the VidCon is a big thing, and it's just not for me. I don't know a ton about it. I know that we have to spend the night down there to be able to go. There was 4 days long. I agreed to go to 2. And I think that was being generous, because this is literally, this is 15-year-olds to like 28, 29-year-olds. That's the scene. There are going to be some grown-ups there also. How many of you know Mama Tot? Ophelia Nichols. Shoe Lover 99 is her other name. She is super famous, heavily sponsored, good, positive messages all the time. That's pretty much all she does, is tell you that everything's going to be okay and you're worth something. Huge following. The kid 2 years ago was in a music video. They flew Gen X Mom and the kid to Oklahoma. Some of you remember that, and he was partaking in a video. So was she. They had some other creators there, and she will be at this event. And her and the kid actually has an interview on. It's on here. It's on his YouTube channel. If you go dig it up, go to his playlist. One of the forgotten playlists at the bottom has an interview where he sat on a porch and interviewed her. Pretty good interview, if you want to know the truth, too. Not bad. And she will be there. So I know the kid and Gen X Mom are going to take time to go see her, because they haven't seen her in a couple years. They all became very good friends during that week that they were filming that video. I didn't go, so I've never met her. But that should be fun for them too. There's a few things like that that are going to go on that people that are really super famous that the kid knows that I don't know, and Gen X mom knows, and they're none of them are young. They're more in the adult side of things. So that's how that's going to go. That just gives you kind of the heads up. So now, being that it's Friday tomorrow, and we're supposed to leave really at early and head down the road, I think if we are able to do any sort of a world show, it's going to have to be from there. There's going to have to be some sort of live. I got a feeling everybody in that place is going to be doing live streams from the busy floor, from the screaming floor. I'm sure we can find a corner or the back up to a wall where we can give you 15, 20, or 30 minutes of what's going on. I think there'll be some of that. So look for that sporadically. I would say that's how that's going to go if I had to guess. Hold on, see. What was in here? GX Patrick, $5 thinking VidCon would cost me the price of admission plus 93 days. Yeah. I'm hoping they let me out after 5 days. I think the jails are crowded down there. The Angry Norwegian, $10, a little something for the kid for graduating. He made it farther than I did. I couldn't imagine being in school where teachers the way they are these days. If you ask him now that he's out of school and the teachers cannot affect his grades, if you ask him now, which I have as a responsible parent, he will tell you in great detail that there were some teachers that were absolutely wonderful, did their job, cared about the subject material at hand. And he will be very forthright now that he can about teachers that had a left-leaning political agenda, and they just kept dumping. There was one during the pandemic. He had an online class, and all the teacher did for the first 30 minutes of class was make everybody sit and do breathing exercises and yoga. And then, because that's what she did. And then she would get into a little bit of the course material, but everything was tainted with, okay, we're going to learn math. Does everybody understand 4 + 4? You do? Good. And that's why there's climate change, and all Republicans need to go away. Do you see how math proves that, kids? Are you with me? Ask him some stories about that. He'll come back and tell you. He's got example after example after example. But for the most part, I'd say because we live in a conservative county, because we live in a conservative city, that most of the teachers that are in here lean conservative. They lean Republican. They lean towards teaching the kids what they need to survive in the world. I think there's still a good old boy network out here for sure. Kind of the Wild West with our sheriff's department. I'll admit that too. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing always. And then you have those good old farm-fed boys and girls that get out there and they're strong and they love their country, they love their family, and they're raised with some of the values you'd find in the Midwest. Good stuff. So I think that even though we're in California, we're definitely in a pocket of conservatism, and it shows. And the balance of power shows also in the school system out here, because there are places that it's bad. Michelle M., $49.99, turn my whole screen pink. Ice Bank myself, say it out loud. I know what you're trying to get. I'm not saying that fast. No, I'm not. Michelle, call me. I'll just whisper it to you. Okay. I'm not doing it out here. I'm not. Oh, she almost got me though. Cheers. No pints tonight. Half for the chair fund. Thank you very much. Yeah. The big fat guy chairs. You know, I've been a fat man for many a year, and I've learned a few things over the years. From time to time, you run across something that you shouldn't buy. One of them is chairs for skinny people, which is true. You have to. If I look for a new chair, and I don't buy a chair very often, the reason that this even came up with you guys is because my wife was making a big deal about it the other day. That my chair in my room, we have our master bedroom's a little bit larger, so I got a big corner desk, and I have an office chair there, a big fluffy office chair, and I go through them about once every 3 years, I'd say. That's a fair assessment. This one's worn out. The armrest has just had metal showing through. There's no more fluff to it. It won't sit up or sit down. It doesn't stay. And it looks raggedy, but nobody's in there but me, so no, I don't really care. She cares. It bothers her. She thinks that's part of my back problem too. Mrs. Fora was on the phone with me the other day telling me, and she was right. I'm sitting in a wheelchair right now because it's comfortable. It's easy to move around, but sitting in a wheelchair is not comfortable for a long period of time. As some of you know, It's big and it's wide and I've got room, but boy, it's not super comfy. No. Wheelchairs are not made of padding, that's for sure. At least this one's not. So went to get another chair, but as I've gotten chairs over the years, when my wife says, well, how do you look up a chair? What are you looking for? Do you measure? I go, just type in there that you want an office chair for a 500-pound fat guy and use the words 500-pound and fat guy. So she did. And all of a sudden all these chairs come up. Now, they're not called fat guy chairs. They're called big guy chairs, which is the joke between Mrs. Four and I. Because I think she actually wrote that down one time on PayPal or a super chat a couple nights ago. I think she wrote for the fat man chair, which I thought was funny. Mrs. Four loves me. She's not, being a jerk to me. She's being funny, but I think she felt bad. So now it's a big guy chair, big man chair. But it is true. If you have to go and find those and then start looking at them. They think that either all fat men are rich or we are all so desperate to be comfortable, we're willing to pay $700 or $800 for a goddamn chair. I have never paid that much. In fact, I will suffer a little bit and pay less, not because I'm noble, because I'm broke, because that's all I can afford is a smaller chair with less padding. So I'm not walking around going, well, I'll save money and the rest of us can have 3 cups of soup for dinner this week instead of 2 because I've given back some of my chair money and I will sacrifice and have the shittier chair. No, that's just all I got. So you get the idea, but a fat guy chair. It's not easy to get one. And even the bad part is I've had to return a few because they tell you, ooh, this is the biggest, widest, tallest, most comfortable fat guy chair. And you pay a bunch of money for it. And it comes, you're like, this is the same one at Office Depot for $49.95. Fuck that. Take it all apart and send it back. I've had to do that a couple times. It is not easy to find a chair that you actually can fit in as a big guy and make it all work. So that's what's going on with the chair. That's why there's a chair fund right now because they're not cheap. And I have to get one for my desk upstairs just as a replacement for the metal coming through that I'm sitting on. And plus, as Mrs. Four said, her money is going towards having a real chair in the new studio, which I think the kid got while I was out this afternoon, I think he got all the outlets in. All the outlets are wired in now. The lights and outlets are wired in. So when we get back from VidCon, we'll fire up the power and we'll see if it melts the whole thing to the ground or if he did a good job. We'll try that. So chair fund. Yeah, that's why we're joking about it and talking about the chair fund. One, because they're hard to find, they're expensive, and we're trying to get one that fits that'll last a long time. And now you know what I know. All right, where was I? Oh yeah, Michelle was trying to get me to say naughty words, and she could just call me. Just send me a text message with your phone number, and I'll whisper it in your ear. I'm just not doing it loud in front of everybody. That is a completely different show that we charge $5.99 a minute for. Tanya Torres, guess what? I'm going to be a grandma. My eldest having their first baby in October. Hey, if it's October 20, that's Gen Z kid's birthday. I'm going to get in trouble for that. When is his birthday? October. Wait, he was born at 10/20. 10/23. Yes, I was there. He was born on if your grandbaby's born October 23rd, it's the same as the kid. That'll be the kid will now have a famous birthday because of your grandson. Iris Boots, I worked too hard for my money to give some to you. Appreciate your content though. Well, Iris said it's fine. Believe me. Do you understand that when someone even donates a dollar? And this happens more on Facebook because stars are done in increments of 100 stars is $1. So we get a lot of $1 donations there. But I'm going to tell you, Iris Boots, $1 donated makes me completely understand that was somebody else's money that somebody else worked for. They now have that money. They cash their check. They put that dollar in their pocket. They've worked for it. It isn't just a symbol of the money. No. That was part of labor, of time, of investment that they did. So even when somebody donates $1 to the program, we all take it very seriously. There's nothing lighthearted about, oh, it's just $1. No, it's their dollar. It's your dollar. You didn't have to give us anything. You could have just sat here. We didn't charge you to come on this program. We're not behind a paywall. Some people are behind paywalls. You have to join to see this. You have to become a member and pay to see this. We don't do that at all. So anytime someone gives a donation of any time, even $1, it's huge. It's absolutely huge because it's someone else's time, energy, effort, and money that doesn't belong to us. We certainly don't deserve it. And someone takes the time to give it. So, Iris, I respect that. I do. But I don't want you to think that we take it lightly, because that would be incorrect to assume that. Trucker Kajay, come on, man. I got Trucker. Can you get a regular last name for me in here? General, what did Elias do to piss you off? We have your back. I think I made him mad. I think he's been staying away from my house because I did something to him. Although he fucked up my fence. I had him, we had it's not really chicken wire. If you guys have seen pictures of Jennick's mom's garden, we sank some 4-inch poles into the ground in concrete, and then we just took, it was like 4-inch square chicken wire. God, they don't call it chicken wire though. Anyway, we got those big nails, those U type nails. We pounded it in on the first pole, and then we stretched it out to the next pole, and we pounded the nails in. Stretched it out to the next pole, and pounded it in. And we needed one of the poles to be dug out. So we popped out all the nails. We pulled the fence away. It's like a 4-inch square. It's not chain link. It's squares up and down. Chain link are like diamonds, but this is, anyway, we pulled it away, and I said, hey, Elias, I'll give you some money. Just dig this thing out. And he just, in typical kid fashion, he was just swinging this fucking, pickaxe in the ground and shoveling the ground and just ruined the fence. Just tore up the fence. And he's like, no, you got your thing out there. It's done. Yeah, but now you fucked up the fence where I need to take the whole fence down and put up the whole fence back up. So that he did piss me off because he just wasn't paying attention. He just didn't care. He was in a fucking hurry, as teenage kids sometimes do. You look for the kids who have turned that corner and they're more mature, and they kind of look at everything before they do it. Like, all right, I don't want to fuck up the fence, and I need to move the hose out of the way. You look at kids. You want to bring kids in to do these kind of things that have already kind of turned that corner and they're viewing things a little better. The last thing you want is some 24-year-old adult at your house who doesn't give a shit, slams through stuff and fucks everything up, and has the attitude, well, if you don't like it, don't have me do it. I get rid of those fast. Like, pack your shit, get out, and don't come back, because it's just dumb. That's being lazy. So Elias just had a moment. He's a good kid, but I think at that moment he just was frustrated and he didn't want to be out there or something. So I don't know what I did to him, but I know what he did to me, so maybe we're even. DM94 something. Even skinny people don't want skinny people chairs. Well, I didn't know that. Well, if skinny people want a big fat chair, I know where to buy them because I'm good at that part. Mr. Fatty, I built my chair in the welding shop at work to hold my 700 pounds up for 14 hours a day. Well, Mr. Fatty, make 2 of them, and I'll come get it, because I'm going to need something like that. That's just the way it goes. All right, so I don't have any pictures for you because I was late to the game on this one, just kind of strolled in the front door. Stand by. Hold on. I got to get hydrated. My throat's closing up. Nothing like Hawaiian water from a distance, from 4 feet away, which is what that straw makes you do. Okay, so we covered the submarine thing, gave you my perspective on that. And we covered VidCon. I gave you kind of the ideas and the rundown of what's going to happen, what might happen down there. And we talked a little bit about your comments in here. Do you want to get into the comments? I got another comment over here. Boom, 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 boom. Let me scroll down to the bottom, make sure I'm not missing something I'm supposed to forget. Can't do that. Ace Diamond, Tim and Indy, JX Patrick, Josh is modding, Two Bears modding, King Wisenoak, Ace Diamond, Zoe Michelle's here, Top Knots Rule, Mike Radcliffe, I'm 59. And I was raised by a Marine from World War II. I just love everything you do. Thanks. Well, Mike, appreciate that. Mike Radcliffe checking in. He's in the right category there. Thrash for Life. Cagey's checking in. Mrs. Ford Watton swinging a big blue wrench. I see. Which is why she hasn't been yelling at me too much. And when Mrs. Ford is in moderating and she's swinging that blue wrench, she's very focused. Usually it's a trade-off. Usually when Mrs. Ford is in there doing stuff and someone else is working the sheets like Josh Maddox is, then I'm getting yelled at from my wife. When my wife is in between, then Mrs. Ford is yelling at me. So for some reason tonight, I'm a lucky guy. I got the night off. Nobody's beating the shit out of me. Mr. Blackstar's raising a glass for the truth. Nail lover. Time for bed. Got to get up. Able to drive the big girl trucks. Have a great night, everyone. Well, we talked about that at the car show. How that girl, that was a chick. She drove a semi. a big, like a 40-foot truck and trailer into that little tiny car lot for In-N-Out Burger and just whip that thing around and put it right where it was supposed to be. And I always love a woman who can whip things around and put things right where they're supposed to be, if you know what I mean. All right. Tanya Torres, thank you, everyone. I'll share our first sneak peek of him. Also, when she learned she was expecting, all right? You can share that one too. So listen, here's the deal. I should go, not because I've been here for a super long time. I've been here 45 minutes, but we still have to try to record our audio podcast. Yeah, that's got to drop at midnight. It's got to drop in what, 5 hours from now? And we haven't recorded it yet. We got all the stuff that we were going to talk about because there were some topics and things. Gen X Mom wrote down some stuff. We haven't done it yet. We got to go do that, which means I got to talk for another hour and then get the podcast ready to drop for you fine folks. We got to figure out, we haven't gassed up Elvira. We haven't washed Elvira. We haven't packed Elvira. So she's feeling a little neglected at the moment. So I got to go do that. There's some stuff that has to happen around here before we can get on the road tomorrow morning. Plus, everybody's got to crash out. We got to crash out so we can get up early and go. I think we're leaving, if I remember right, by when VidCon opens, I think we're leaving around 5 in the morning. We got to be on the road by then. Got to be gassed up, washed up, and ready to go by 5, and then get down there. So there's things to be worked on. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get out of here for a little bit. If you guys want to jump over into Discord, everyone runs to the Discord server. That's where all the Gen X people hang out. It's just chat rooms, and they're rooms for what you want to talk about. Sometimes there's 500 people in there, and sometimes there's 50. But you can go check it out. And that's where everybody hangs out between live streams. Other than that, look for the midnight tonight. It'll drop. You can see the podcast. Listen to it on your way to work tomorrow, on your lunch break. If we get it done on time, then Two Bears got to buy the donuts for Joe tomorrow. No two ways about it. It's got to happen. Other than that, there's things shaping up. And after we get back from VidCon, we hit the ground running with a lot of programming, a lot of content, and a lot of stuff for you guys. There's some big events coming up, including the Gen X Talks Barbecue, which is invite only, but you can put your name in the hat. You just got to email genxmom@genxtalks.com. There's some specialty things coming up we want to share with you. The summer's just getting going. We're still in June. We got a long ways to go, and Gen X Talks is going to light it on fire. So expect us to be in and out for the next couple of days at VidCon. We'll give you some updates. I promise you, my wife says she's going to film every confrontation I'm in. She guarantees it. She promised it, and so is Two Bear. So you guys are going to get to see something. Somebody comes up and starts a debate, starts a conversation, wants to get a little Brody. Well, they can get up in my grill, and it'll all be on film, and you guys will get to see it when we get back. So thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you guys for tuning in. Wherever you are around the world, we appreciate you guys. Remember, Gen X Talks wouldn't be anything without you guys. Wherever you go, there you are. And I promise you one thing, I'll catch each one of you on the flip side. I'm telling you, I'm not wrong. That's the way it goes. Duh.